Howdy, folks. John Wolf here. We're going to run, as the premiere train's winding down, we're going to tell a little bit of treasure story. Forgotten or lost treasure stories around Texas. Happen to be from Texas, so I'm not hunted for any of these, so I can't tell you personally on any of it. But here's a little story from Little Cypress Creek back in the 1800s. Let's see, on July 15th and 16th, 1839, there was a battle that took place near Tyler, Texas, called the Battle of the Natchez. There were over 100 Cherokee Indians were killed, and the rest were sent fleeing to the Indian Territory of Oklahoma. The Mexican army at the time met up with the fleeing Cherokees. The Mexicans were holding gold and silver coins that they'd promised to give the Cherokee people if they helped drive out the white settlers from Texas. While the Indians were in retreat along with the Mexicans, they found their way to the swampy area now known as the Little Cypress Creek, just north of the present-day Gilmer, Texas, in Upshur County. While here many of the Indians spread out in the swampy, wooded areas, the legend has it that the Mexicans, being fearful for their lives, couldn't go far with the gold and silver coins they were carrying, so they decided to hide the treasure in a deep spot in Little Cypress Creek. Soon people in the area heard about the hidden Mexican cache, and many started searching for it. No treasure has been found, and some believe that it is still waiting to be recovered in a deep sinkhole in the Little Cypress Creek north of Gilmer, Texas. If this treasure is really there, it could be worth millions of dollars today. Who knows? That's just one of them. Now we got a little story about stolen bank loot. The First National Bank of Bowie, Texas, was robbed in 1894. The bandits got away with $10,000 in $20 gold coins and $18,000 in paper currency. The bandits quickly headed north to the Oklahoma border with Texas. They stopped near the Red River and camped for some time. Soon, a U.S. Deputy Marshal Lewis Palmore with the Indian Territory got word by telegraph about the robbery from the Bowie, Texas sheriff. Knowing that the bandits were probably going to try to cross the Red River at Rock Crossing, he formed a posse to wait for them there. When the bandits took off from their camp, they noticed a posse coming in after them, so they tried to cross the Red River with their horses. Little did they know that on the other side, Lewis Paddlemore's posse was waiting for them. The four bandits were apprehended by Palomar, and they only had the $18,000 in paper currency in their saddlebags. The gold coins were nowhere to be found, if that's to be believed. The four bandits were brought to Fort Smith, Arkansas, to be put on trial and hanged. While one of the men was waiting to be hung, he stated to one of the guards that they had buried the $10,000 in gold coins on the south bank of the Red River where they were camping. Although Palomar and later his son Frank searched for the lost gold coins, they were never found, and some believe they are still buried somewhere between the bridge off of Highway 81 and the entrance to the Little Wichita River. With all the flooding over the years, the treasure may have washed downriver. One never knows. Alright, now we got one little story that has to do with the massacre. This legend states that Moses Jackson made a bundle in gold when he sold some of his cattle in the summer of 1858. In October 1858, Moses and his wife Lydia and 4 of their 7 children took a small trip to go see some of their friends. While on their way, they were attacked by Comanche Indians. Both Moses and Linda were killed along with 2 of their children. The other 2 children were taken by the Indians, but they left them a couple weeks later alive. After walking a couple days, some Texas Rangers happened upon them, and they were taken to safety. Soon after the massacre, stories started to go around that Moses Jackson had buried the gold he had received from the sale of the cattle somewhere near their cabin. One of the sons who didn't go on the trip with them overheard his dad and mom talking about the gold. He also witnessed his father dump the gold into a metal container and leave the cabin. He later came back without the container of gold. Moses' son, Having, spent some time searching for his father's buried gold, but never found it. Over the years, treasure hunters have searched for Moses' buried gold near his old cabin, but as far as they know, it has never been located. It's presumed to be buried somewhere near Jackson's cabin in southeast Mills County, Texas. Well, there's a spot to go look. Oh, now I have a question. Have y'all ever heard of a pirate named Jean Lafitte? He had some lost silver, they say, that he buried. Let's listen to the story about the pirate Jean Lafitte. Jean Lafitte, the notorious pirate, spent the years 1817 to 1820 headquartered on Galveston Island. While there, he and his brother Pierre would loot ships that came from the Gulf of Mexico. Lafitte even built a village here called Camche, where he would keep track and store immense wealth that he and his brother had gathered from raiding ships down the Gulf of Mexico. Legend has it, while Lafitte was in Texas, controlled by the Spanish at the time, that he raided a Spanish galleon and took over $2 million in silver. This amounted to wagon loads of silver. The legend goes on to state that Lafitte and his men dumped the wagon loads of silver and ingots into the Sabine River in Texas to keep it from the Indians that they were worried would attack them. Lafitte and his men later left Texas when the U.S. government decided to crack down on them. By all accounts, they never retrieved the silver from the Sabine River. Over the years, many treasure hunters have searched for the treasure to no avail. Some went as far as dynamiting the bottom of a nearby lake called Hendricks Lake. No silver was ever found. Heck, you're blowing it up, you ain't gonna find it. In the 1880s, a few silver bars were caught in some fishermen's nets, but that's all that has ever been found of this treasure. There could still be tons of silver bars and ingots underneath centuries of mud and muck at the bottom of the Sabine River. Who knows? Who wants to go diving? Alright. Now let's see what we got here. I know we can find a couple more. Let's see. by an outlaw by the name of Sam Bass. He was born on July 21st, 1851, on a farm in Mitchell, Indiana. In his early years, Sam worked at a sawmill in Rosedale, Mississippi, and he went on to cattle wrangling in Denton, Texas. After getting tired of the hard work and little pay, he decided to buy a racehorse, which he made good money from. After that, he partnered with Joe Collins and started driving cattle for some ranchers in San Antonio, Texas, which took them to Nebraska in 1876. While in the town of Deadwood, South Dakota, they lost all the money they made from the sale of cattle while gambling. After losing all the money, Bass and Collins started their life of crime by robbing stagecoaches and went on to robbing trains. Sam and his gang made out big time in many of the train robberies. In 1877, they stole $60,000 in newly minted $20 gold coins at Big Spring Station in Nebraska. Bass robbed a few more trains over the next year so until the people of North Texas started to get worried, and the Texas Rangers were called in to go after Bass and his gang. Over the next few months, Bass and his gang had a few run-ins with the Rangers. The Rangers finally caught up with Bass and his gang in Round Rock, Texas in July 1878. The Bass gang was taking out a bank there and that they were going to rob. They were noticed by A.W. Grimes, who was the deputy sheriff of Williamson County, Texas. The sheriff approached the men and told them to put down their weapons. Well, the Bass gang didn't comply. They didn't much like that idea, so they just shot Grimes, killing him instantly. A gunfight ensued, and Sam Bass was shot in the hand and in the chest. He got away for a short time, was caught up the next day in the field. He was then taken to a cabin nearby for questioning, but soon died from his injuries on his 27th birthday, July 21st, 1878. With all the train robberies that Sam and his gang committed, there are rumors Sam must have buried or hid his ill-gotten gains somewhere in Texas. The following one story says that he hid some of his gold in a cave near Big Blue Spring before going on to Round Rock. Another story states Bass buried his loot in East Mountain near Mineral Wells, Texas. You never know. But like I say, that was just some of the little stories of buried treasure or whatever in Texas. We're going to let you go and segue on over to your boy, the Mad Stacker. He's up next on this premiere train, so y'all have yourself a great day. Remember, treasure is where you find it. Good luck and have a great day.